Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to Wednesday's spelling lesson. Let's have a look at some of the awesome work you've been doing before we start today's lesson. Well done to these children who did some fantastic spelling work last week. Isla, who tried in lots of different ways. Then we had some super handwriting from Ava. I can see that you've even tried to join up some of your letters. And Faith, using the computer to practice her spellings and her letter formation, and also timing herself writing the words following Miss Lloyd's challenge last week. Well done, all of you. You get an extra dojo point from me, along with everybody else who sent their work into the Year 2 email address. Right, ready for today's lesson? Let's go. Today we're going to practice our spellings by listening really carefully and writing our words down when we hear them. You're going to listen carefully to this, a story of WR, written on wrinkly brown paper, especially for Year 2. Steps to success then are to remember that when we hear at the beginning of words, it's spelled WR. Listen really carefully and write down the words that you hear. You could just listen for your spellings, or you could try and identify all the words that should have WR at the beginning. Choose your challenge, get something to write with, and then come back. Have a good look at our spellings before we start. If you're finding them tricky, you might want to write them down so they're in front of you while you listen. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Make sure that you've got something ready to write with. Remember, you're listening for at the beginning of those words, knowing that it's spelled WR. Are you ready? Listen carefully. A long, long time ago, when there were no writers, people told all their stories out loud and didn't yet write them down. First, they started with pictures, but we had to listen really carefully to stories. Sometimes there would be a story of a huge wreck, where great beasts roamed to protect precious jewels, and groups of pesky pirates were always wrestling and fighting over it. Sometimes stories told of evil, wretched witches who did lots of spells until one went wrong and poof! Sometimes explorers would tell tales of amazing sights, dangerous adventures, or stories you might not believe. Like that one time they got their wrists stuck in the mouth of a fierce dragon. The love we have for stories hasn't changed, but now they can be written, recorded, or even filmed like this. See if you can recognise this story.
Unexpected visitor arrived at a little town by the sea, and with him began a remarkable story.
You can even write your own amazing stories. Perhaps you'll tell of a magic wristwatch, or maybe a bear with a wren for a friend. Or even a wrinkly caterpillar who wriggled his way all around the world. Now, it's time to wrap this up and for you to choose your chili challenge. Chili challenge 1, listen again. So go back to the beginning and listen carefully. Can you check the spellings that you wrote down? Chili challenge 2, write sentences. Can someone else hear the words with the WR spelling in them? Chili challenge 3, create your own story with words with the WR spelling in them. Will it be an adventure story with Tom, the bear, or one of our famous explorers? Can you challenge yourself to use all of your spelling words? Well done for listening really carefully. Have a check here. These are all the words that you would have heard. They're written in different colours to show the different coloured spelling groups. You could have heard a total of 21 words, but well done if you were able to identify and spell correctly all the ones from your spelling group. I look forward to seeing your work coming into our Year 2 email address and to tomorrow's lesson. Bye-bye.